every one of you who is eager to speak good English, fluent English, and who have subscribed and joined this channel have been telling me that you want your English to be impressive. You want others to say that you are speaking good English. One of the important aspects of impressing people is to speak persuasively. The ability to persuade, that is, to tell others something which is your point of view, and then convincing them that it is a good point of view. That is the quality of a persuasive speaker. You should be able to think of ideas in accordance with your audience. What does your audience want? Even if the audience is one person or 100 people, you must be able to gauge them in order to be persuasive. Let us see all the different points how you can make your English persuasive. The first point about persuasive communication is that you have to be clear and logical. You can't persuade people unless you have clarity in what you're saying. If you yourself are confused, how will you persuade others? So be very clear about what you want to say. Don't elaborate too much. Be very brief. And then you have to also be logical. That means whatever you are saying should make some sense. It should not be something which is only imaginary or which does not add up 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. It adds up to 2 plus 2 is equal to 10, which nobody is going to believe. This kind of ability is what makes your communication become better. When you want to speak logically, when you want to speak clearly, then others will listen to you. And once you start using this technique, you will find that your communication persuades others to believe in you, to think like you do. Confidence is a quality persuasive communication requires. So you have to build up your confidence. Confidence comes when you start believing in yourself. Remember that once you believe in yourself, only then others can trust you. Another very important aspect is that you must know what you're talking about. If you do not know what you want to say, then how will you say it in such a way that others get persuaded to your point of view? So, to cultivate expertise in the topic on which you're speaking or in the subject which you want to share with others is an important step. Be very careful in this, because you might learn a lot of grammar or vocabulary, etc., but you might not have any material to speak. Then, however impressive your language is, your points are not going to persuade others. So try to practice that. To help you make your communication persuasive, you can use stories. Stories have a very powerful impact, even when you're talking in your professional sphere. Suppose you are making a presentation, then these days in MBA courses, etc., they teach you how to use a story even when you're selling something, how to use a story when you want to capture the attention of the client, or you want to be you want to advertise and you use a story there. Stories are extremely persuasive if you can put them across properly. So learn storytelling. Mastering storytelling is important. Sharing experiences is also something which is persuasive. Suppose you want somebody to believe what you're saying, then you must say that it is an experience from which you learned the lesson, and it is this experience which you're sharing. That will help everybody immensely, because they would also like to participate in that experience. You see how movies share experiences, and when many of us feel that it's a part of our own story, some part of the movie, some scene, we recollect as our own experience. Visuals and other supplements also help in persuasion. Not only your words, but whatever supports it. Your body language, which I often speak about, that also comes into play. But if you have a visual to show, if you have something to narrate, if you have a small clipping which you want to share with your audience, all this adds to what you're saying. We call it as supplementing. So supplementing your own words, your English, these are important. So communication is a two-way process. Unless you can hold the attention of your audience, you are not going to be very successful in persuading them. A sense of humor is important. You're talking about something very serious, and then you want to give a break. You can't say, like you have in programs, there's an advertisement break. That's not possible. Here, the break is that you break the monotony of your speech by introducing something light-hearted. The light-hearted example can be related to what you're saying, but when you use it, it benefits your speech and it persuades your audience. When you want to persuade your audience, a small or a large number of people, then you must know about their existing beliefs or their existing mindset. Once you know about this and you feel that there needs to be a change or an alternative to this, that is where your communication begins. So you need to understand what you're speaking and to whom you're speaking, why it is important to persuade them. All this will challenge your English. You want to speak well. You want to reach a higher level of English. You want to become advanced in your communication. And to do all this, you need to master the skill of persuasion. So once you offer the alternative, you should not do it in such a way that it hurts the audience's sentiments. To understand the audience is very important here. And unless you put yourself in the position of the audience, share with them what they have as their, set beliefs, and you want to change those set beliefs, then you need to be persuasive. And that is where your ability to use the language becomes important. Persuasive communication, as I told you right in the beginning, is clarity. But clarity does not mean a single sentence. Clarity does not mean conciseness, does not mean you say it in one way. Persuasion sometimes requires repeating the same idea in different ways. You have to put different words or different structures of sentences in order to persuade everybody. Now, this you have to do by trying to first gauge how your speech is going across. Suppose you start saying something and then you find that there is resistance in the audience, then you must tone down what you're saying. If you find that the audience is going along with you, they want more, then you can give them much more in a stronger, more assertive form. That is important. Assertive, not aggressive. whenever you're communicating, you are working with the minds of people, because what you say reaches their brain and then they decode it according to what they want. So understanding your audience's mindset is very important. And then you must be able to listen and negotiate also. Not only speak, persuasion also implies that if they argue, you should have answers for that. You must be open to listening. And if they have a point which is a logical, valid point, you must be able to say, okay, that point can also be added to what I'm saying in order to go forward. Imagine the variety of English you require for meeting all these needs. Take one point at a time. I've given you many points here. And try to practice that in whatever you want to communicate. Many of you who are working often have to persuade others. You might have to persuade your colleagues, your bosses, or people who have come to your company for getting your services. All these are important in persuasion. You might also have persuasion in the family structure or in your neighborhood, in society. There, again, you have to speak, and you have to speak persuasively. So while improving your English, there are various things which you have to know in order to see whether you're really reaching that higher level. And here is one example of that: persuasive communication. Thank you and all the best. I hope you have liked the video. Please subscribe if you haven't done it. Press the bell icon so that you get notifications. Like and hype the video and share it as widely as you can. Join the channel as a member to attend all the live classes I conduct and also to get other benefits. Thank you and all the best.